Welcome to African Folktales by Delight, where African stories come alive. In the small, noisy town near Ayegunle in Lagos, there lived a man called Baba Afodi, his wife Mama Afodi, and their 5 children. The children were Afodi, the eldest boy of 14, Nkem, the 12-year-old girl, Ijeoma, who was 10, Chibuike, the 8-year-old boy, and little Amaka, a girl of 5, whose smile always softened trouble. They were 7 in number, yet their home felt even smaller than their worries. Every corner carried the smell of struggle, the breath of hope, and the sound of children trying to laugh through hardship. Baba Afodi was a very poor man. Not lazy, not wicked, just a man swallowed by life. His small provision shop in the market barely brought any money. Some days he went home with only dust on his feet and sweat on his back. His children wore old clothes, clothes that no longer knew their original color. Their neighbors mocked them, especially during Christmas season. See them, Christmas is coming, but Afodi's children will wear their usual rags, one neighbor's child would shout. The laughter from the compound lifted like smoke, settled deep, and burned the children's hearts. This year the pressure became too much. Mama Afodi begged her husband every night, "Please buy even one small cloth for these children. They have suffered." The children added their small voices, "Daddy, please, even if it's just one each." But the truth was bitter. Baba Afodi had no money. Still he prayed. That morning, before leaving for the market, he raised his hands and whispered, "God, please help me. Let today not be like yesterday." His voice trembled, but his hope stood strong. He sold little in the market, but he gathered all he made, small painful money, hoping it would be enough. When he priced clothes in the market, his heart broke. The money could only buy for the 2 youngest children. The others, nothing. He scratched his head, wiped sweat, and sighed deeply. Then an idea came. He remembered an old cloth he rarely wore at home. If he trimmed it, shaped it, and bought cufflinks, maybe, just maybe, it would look good on his eldest son. With shaky hope, he bought cheap cufflinks and went home. When he presented the clothes, joy did not fill the room. Instead, disappointment sat among them. The 2 new clothes looked cheap, the old cloth looked tired, and the cufflinks looked like hope struggling to shine. The eldest son frowned. Mama Afodi sighed. But there was nothing else Baba Afodi could do. Christmas morning came. The children dressed. The eldest son wore the trimmed cloth reluctantly. He felt ashamed. Baba Afodi took him along to the supermarket to buy a few things they could afford, and so, without knowing it, their Christmas story had already begun to change. The supermarket in Lagos that Christmas afternoon was bright and full of life. Children in fresh clothes ran around laughing like bells. Decorations sparkled, Christmas songs floated in the air like warm breeze. But the eldest son of Baba Afodi, dressed in his reshaped shirt with cheap cufflinks, walked beside his father feeling small, very small. Everywhere he looked, he saw what he wished he had. "How I wish I had this kind of cloth," he whispered in his heart as he admired other children whose clothes shone like new coins. He stretched the sleeves of his shirt, feeling the roughness of the fabric. His father noticed but said nothing. His heart was already too heavy. Inside the supermarket, the boy's eyes wandered from item to item. Biscuits, toys, drinks, noodles, shoes. It was like a world made for everyone except him. "How I wish my father could buy these things for us," he thought quietly. His heart spoke, but his lips remained sealed. He knew their pocket was small. He knew their burden was big. Baba Afodi picked only a few things: small rice, tiny oil, 1 bottle of drink, and bread. Nothing extra, nothing fancy. The boy swallowed sadness. He carried the bag slowly, dragging his feet. Then, like a whisper from the wind, something strange happened. A man, nobody knew where he came from, walked straight to them. His smile was calm, his eyes warm. "Good afternoon, sir," the man said politely. "I don't know why, but I am led to give you and this boy some gifts." Baba Afodi blinked. "Gifts? For us?" "Yes," the man replied gently. "Please follow me." They followed him to his car. He opened the boot. Inside were items worth 500,000 naira. Exactly the things the boy had wished for silently in the supermarket: biscuits, drinks, foodstuffs, and even some clothes. The boy froze. "Daddy, these are the same things I wished for. Everything. I just thought of them in my heart." Baba Afodi could not speak. His hands shook. "This must be God," he whispered. On their way home, still carrying the miraculous gifts, they passed a car shop. The boy's eyes caught a Toyota Camry, clean, shiny, beautiful. His heart spoke again. "How I wish my father had this car. At least we won't trek home." They walked for barely 10 minutes when another man came running toward them. "Excuse me, please come. Something is telling me to give you a car." Baba Afodi stopped. "A car? For me? Are you sure?" "Yes," the man said, pointing to the exact Toyota Camry the boy had admired. "Wait, let me buy it and prepare the papers." The boy and his father stared at each other, shocked, trembling, confused. Something strange was happening. The man who wanted to buy the car walked quickly into the office, leaving Baba Afodi and his son standing like statues outside the shop. The sun was gently setting, painting the Lagos sky with orange light. Yet the father and son felt cold with surprise. They whispered back and forth. "My son," Baba Afodi said, holding his chest. "I am dreaming, Abi." The boy shook his head slowly. "Daddy, it is real," the car dealer returned. "Please wait while I finish signing the papers. This car is yours today." He spoke with pure seriousness, no joke in his voice. As they waited, Baba Afodi's old phone rang. A small, battered Nokia 3310 tied with a rubber band, the same phone he had used for many years. It barely held charge. He answered. It was his wife. "Honey, what is taking you so long? You went to the market 3 hours ago," she complained. "Just wait," he said, smiling in disbelief. "God has answered us today." "What do you mean?" she asked. Before he could explain, the phone went off. Dead battery again. The eldest son looked at the phone and shook his head. "Daddy, this phone has disappointed you again. You should have an Android phone. That is what I wish for you." He said the words with a sigh. Not prayer, not request, just a simple, quiet wish. 5 minutes later, the same man preparing the car papers came out again. He looked strangely excited. "Sir, something is pressing in my heart. I feel strongly that I should buy you a phone, not just any phone, a Samsung Android phone." Silence. The father stared. The son choked on his breath. They followed the man to the next phone store. He bought the father a brand new Samsung Android phone, fresh, shiny, beautiful. When the man handed it to him, Baba Afodi almost fainted. The boy's legs became weak. He grabbed his father's hand tightly. "Daddy, everything I have wished today, everything is coming true." "Yes," Baba Afodi whispered, "from the gifts in the supermarket to the car, and now this phone. It was too much, too fast, too perfect." A strange fear entered his heart, mixed with wonder, mixed with confusion. He looked at his son carefully as if seeing him for the first time. "My son," he began slowly, "tell me the truth." "Yes, Daddy, what did you do?" The boy frowned. "Do what do you mean?" Baba Afodi swallowed hard. "These miracles, this sudden favor, did you do something? Have you done ritual or something?" The boy stepped back. Shock washed over his face. His lips trembled. "Daddy, no, I didn't do anything. I only thought in my heart that's all." And that is where the mystery began. The boy stood frozen, his small chest rising and falling like someone running from an unseen spirit. The father's question hung in the air, thick like Hamatandas Hamonsai. "Have you done ritual?" Those words pierced the boy's heart. He had never heard his father speak with such fear, such trembling. Even the evening wind around the car shop seemed to pause and listen. "Daddy, I swear by God I did nothing," the boy said, almost in tears. His voice cracked like dry wood. "I only wished, that is all." But Baba Afodi could not calm down. His hands shook, his mind raced. How could someone think of things and suddenly those same things appear within minutes? How could silent desires become physical gifts? It was too much for one Christmas afternoon. As they waited for the car papers to be finalized, the man who was buying the car for them stepped out again. He looked at the two of them and smiled warmly. "Everything is ready. Just give me a little more time to finish the registration." His calmness only made the moment more mysterious. The father and son sat on a small bench outside the office. The boy's legs dangled, his fingers twisting nervously. "Daddy, please believe me," he whispered. "I didn't do anything bad." The father stared at him closely, too closely. "But my son, how can everything you think, everything you imagine, start happening immediately?" "I don't know," the boy whispered. "Maybe God is answering us." "Yes," Baba Afodi replied. "But God answers prayer, not every passing thought, and not like this. This one is too fast, too exact." The boy had no reply. People walking by kept staring at them. First, because they recognized how poor the Afodi family used to be, and second, because they were now sitting beside a brand new Toyota Camry that was already half papered in their name. Some shook their heads, some whispered, some smiled in disbelief. The father's new Samsung phone vibrated softly. He turned it on, confused. He had never touched such a phone before. When the bright screen lit up, he held it carefully like a fragile egg. Even the boy gasped. "Daddy, this is real." "Yes," the father whispered. "Too real." As the sky darkened slowly over Lagos, the father leaned toward his son. "Tell me again," he said quietly. "You only wished?" "Yes, Daddy." "You didn't talk to anybody?" "No." "You didn't join any bad friends?" "No." "You didn't even pray out loud?" "No, Daddy. I only thought." Silence swallowed them again. The boy looked up at his father, fear and confusion dancing in his eyes. "Daddy," he said softly, "why are you looking at me like that?" "Because, my son," the father answered slowly, "things that happen like this, they have meanings." "But what meaning, Daddy?" "I don't know yet," he said. "But whatever it is, it has only just started." When the car dealer finally returned with the completed papers, the father could barely stand. His knees felt weak. His breath came in short bursts. The man handed him the car key with a wide smile. "Sir, everything is ready. Congratulations. This car belongs to you now." The father took the key slowly, as if afraid it would vanish in his hands. The boy stared at the key too, unable to blink. "Thank you," Baba Afodi whispered, though the word felt too small for the moment. You're welcome, the man replied. I don't know why, but I felt pushed, strongly pushed, to bless you. That statement only deepened the mystery. They entered the car. The father placed his hands on the steering wheel gently. The boy touched the dashboard like he was touching something holy. They stayed inside for a moment, almost afraid to start the engine. When they finally drove out of the car shop, the father kept whispering, Jesus, 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 over and over. The boy watched him carefully. It felt like they were moving inside a dream. They parked the new car in a safe corner and continued walking home because they hadn't told Mama Afodi yet. They wanted to surprise her. Their footsteps were slow, thoughtful, heavy with wonder. People passing by stared at the father's new Samsung phone in his hand and the shopping bags still full from the supermarket miracle. That was when the father spoke again. My son. Yes, Daddy? There is something we must talk about before we reach home. The boy swallowed hard. Okay, Daddy. What happened today is not ordinary. It is not something you see on a normal day in Lagos. Yes, Daddy. So you must answer me truthfully. Did you speak to anyone? Any strange person? Did anybody give you anything? No, Daddy, I only wish, that's all. They walked a little more. The father wiped sweat from his face, though the evening breeze had grown cool. My son, did you wish those things with anger, with tears, with strong desire, or did you just say them lightly? I said them lightly, the boy said. I did not even expect anything to happen. That answer shook the father even more. They reached a small junction near their street. The boy stopped walking for a moment and looked up at his father. Daddy, you are afraid of me, Abi? The father looked away. I am not afraid of you. I am afraid of what I don't understand. The boy lowered his head sadly. Then the father placed his hand on his son's shoulder. Whatever is happening, we will face it together, he said quietly. But both of them knew the truth. When the father and son finally reached their street in Ayagunle, the noise of children playing and neighbors gossiping floated through the air as usual. Nothing in the environment hinted that something extraordinary had happened. Nothing suggested that a miracle had followed two poor people like a shadow. But inside the Afodi house, Mama Afodi was restless. She paced up and down, wiping sweat with her wrapper. She had already scolded the younger children twice for asking too many questions. Sit down, your father will soon come, she shouted, though she herself was worried. Just when she was about to step outside, she heard footsteps approaching. She peeped through the curtain. It was her husband and her eldest son. They were carrying bags they didn't leave the house with, and the father was holding a phone she had never seen before. She rushed out immediately. Honey, you have kept us in suspense. What happened? Why did your phone switch off? My heart has been shaking. The father looked at her, then looked at the boy, then back at her again. He opened his mouth, closed it, then opened it again. Words refused to come. The boy stepped forward first. Mommy, something happened. What happened? She asked sharply, looking from one face to the other. The father finally spoke. God visited us today. Ain, she frowned. Explain yourself. They entered the house. The children surrounded them immediately. The father placed the supermarket bags on the floor. These things, someone gave them to us. Free. Free? Yes. everything the boy wished for inside the supermarket, all the things he only thought in his heart. The children screamed in joy. Mama Afodi's eyes widened, but before she could recover, the father lifted the Samsung phone. This one too. Someone bought it free. The children screamed again. The youngest jumped up and down. Mama Afodi's hand covered her mouth, but the biggest shock was yet to come. Mama, the father said slowly, someone also bought a car. What? She stepped back. A car for who? For us. Which kind of car? Toyota Camry. Mama Afodi sat down immediately. Her legs could no longer carry her weight. Honey, she whispered, are you sure you are not mixing up the story? The eldest son stepped forward. Mummy, all the things Daddy is telling you are true. Exactly the things I wished for came to us today. Mama Afodi looked at him deeply. You wished? You prayed? No, Mummy, he said. I only thought, and it came to pass. Slowly, very slowly, fear entered her eyes. Afodi, she said, turning to her husband, this kind of thing, it has meaning. The father nodded. Yes, and we must find out what that meaning is. That night the Afodi household did not sleep early. Even the walls seemed awake. The children were too excited to stay still. They ran around touching the new items from the supermarket miracle. The youngest girl wore her new Christmas cloth and danced around, singing loudly. The older children whispered among themselves, trying to understand how such wonders could follow their family in one day. But the parents sat quietly on the bed, not talking, only thinking. The father finally broke the silence. Mama, I am afraid. I am also afraid, she whispered. Things like this don't just happen. People don't walk around buying strangers' cars. Yes, he nodded. And the most terrifying part is that everything the boy thought became reality. Mama Afodi rubbed her palms together nervously. Honey, what if someone is using him? No, the father replied. I don't think so. The boy is innocent, but something is happening, something we don't understand. The eldest son lay on the small mattress on the floor, unable to sleep as well. He overheard every word his parents said. His heart felt heavy, not with joy, but with fear. He did not ask for powers. He did not ask for miracles. He just wished because he was sad. And now those wishes were turning their family upside down. Later that night, the father called the boy outside. Sit down, he said quietly. Tell me everything again from the beginning. The boy repeated the entire story. The supermarket, the silent wishes, the exact gifts, the car, the phone. He did not add anything. He did not remove anything. The father listened carefully. He did not blink once. When the boy finished, the father sighed deeply. My son, there is something we must do tomorrow. What is it, Daddy? We must pray. The boy looked surprised. Pray? Yes, the father whispered. Whatever is happening, we must ask God for understanding. The boy nodded slowly. Yes, Daddy. They both looked up at the sky. The Lagos night was quiet, except for distant generators humming and a few voices singing Christmas carols from far away. The moon shone softly as if watching them. Daddy, the boy said suddenly, do you think this thing will happen again tomorrow? The father closed his eyes. My son, I don't know. But anything that happens too fast, anything that happens too exact, can be dangerous. Am I dangerous? The boy asked quietly. The father put his hand on his son's head. No, but the power behind what is happening might not be ordinary. They sat in silence for a long time. When they finally returned inside, the mother looked at them with worried eyes. The younger children were asleep, but the house still felt strange, full of blessings, yet full of questions. One thing was clear. The next morning arrived quietly, as if afraid to disturb the tension that floated inside the Afodi home. Although the sun rose happily over Lagos, the family woke with caution in their hearts. The children rubbed their eyes, expecting excitement, but the house was still heavy from the night before. The father sat on a stool near the door, staring at the Samsung phone like it held secrets. The mother folded her wrapper around her chest, whispering prayers under her breath. The eldest son sat alone, looking at his hands, wondering what had happened to him. After breakfast, the father called a family meeting. The children gathered around. Mama Afodi sat beside him. He cleared his throat. "My family, something happened yesterday that has never happened in this house before. Blessings came faster than thoughts. Gifts came without asking. And now we must be careful." The children nodded silently. The father continued, "We will pray this morning. We will thank God, but we will also ask him what is going on." "Yes," Mama Afodi added, "we must understand this thing." Before the prayer began, the father turned to the boy. "My son," he said gently, "I need you to tell us something. Yesterday, when you wished for those things, did you feel anything? Heat, cold, voice, anything?" The boy shook his head quickly. "No, Daddy, nothing. I was only sad." "Did you close your eyes? Did you say anything in your mind?" "No, Daddy, I just looked at those things and wished." The father rubbed his chin slowly. "And the car, the phone, the food?" "Yes, Daddy," the boy whispered, "all of them." The father leaned closer. "My son, is there something you're not telling us?" The boy raised his head sharply. "Daddy, I swear I told you everything." The room fell silent. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a journey. This has been another story from African Folk Tales by Delight. If you enjoyed it, subscribe and share the tale. Let its message travel farther than the wind.